What's going on, guys? It's Luke here. Today I'm going to run through a weekly outlook for the week coming up. We're going to be looking at the week of August 18th to 22. So what I'm going to do is show you guys kind of the levels I have marked on my charts in terms of the higher time frame, kind of just some ideas to run through, and then we're going to look at the news. Again, we're not trying to predict what the market's going to do, just kind of mark out some areas that I feel like price can react off of and just have them marked out just to be ready. So starting off on the monthly, we have 13 days left on this August candle, obviously, and it's bullish. We're in monthly bullish order flow. Again, like I mentioned in the last video, we did form this monthly bullish fair value gap right down here, which isn't going to be relevant to us this week, but this can be a potential area to always have marked on your charts. Not really relevant to this weekly outlook, but just something to bring up. On the weekly, we're still in bullish order flow. We had a slightly weak weekly close with a high wick to the upside and downside. But in terms of the weekly, what we're marking out here is all-time high, of course, and this previous week's low, which is this past week's low right here. We don't really need to worry about down here. I highly doubt price comes all the way down here, but in terms of the weekly, we're still in bullish order flow. We swept out the previous week's high, though, and we have our previous week's low, and then we have all-time high marked out. Now going down to the daily, our daily is still maintaining bullish order flow. Again, we swept out this high. We've had kind of a slight retracement since then. And now for areas we have marked out, we have this daily low right here. We have this daily bullish fair value gap right here, this daily low, and then we have this daily fair value gap, which price is still technically holding within. But monthly, the weekly, and the daily are all still in bullish order flow. Daily is still holding this bullish fair value gap right here. But we do need to note that we did have a weaker weekly close, which swept out the highs. So that could be a potential sign that we do want to have a slight sell-off. But we'll have to reassess throughout the week. But let's jump over to ES really quick. Look at ES, and then I'll kind of just go over some scenarios that I'm looking at. So monthly, strong bullish candle right now. Same thing again with this monthly fair value gap down here. It's not really relevant to us this week, but just something to keep in the back of your mind. In terms of the weekly, we did have a stronger weekly close. I think we just barely closed above this past week's high, or this weekly high right here. We just closed above, so just a slightly stronger close on ES. Our weekly still in bullish order flow. On the weekly, we have our previous week low right here, which is this past week's low marked out, and then we have all-time high marked out. Going out of the daily, our daily is still in bullish order flow. What I had marked out is this daily low and this daily low, and then we have this daily bullish fair value gap, which price already wicked into and had a reaction off of, and it's still holding it. So on NQ and ES, these two daily fair value gaps are still valid. Price is still holding below them. NQ is a little bit lower, but if you actually look on the highs in terms of the lower time frame, we have a weird scenario going on right now. So ES put in a higher high and re-swept out the all-time highs, and it also put in a higher low. And if we look back at NQ put in a lower high and a lower low. So ES formed a new all-time high, NQ didn't, and that's just a short-term SMT, but we have an SMT off the lows. When stuff like that, we have conflicting kind of SMTs like that, we do have to just kind of wait for that to play out. We really can't be predicting anything with that, but we do have a slight SMT off the highs, right? And we did push below this 4-hour bullish fair value gap. We had a retrace in, and we did get a bearish close to end off on Friday on the 4-hour. So we're going to have to see what happens throughout the week, but these are just some key areas to have marked on your charts. Now, for scenarios, if NQ still holds this daily fair value gap, then I'm still going to be looking for continuations to the upside, and I want to see price break back above all-time high, and then potentially from there go into price discovery. And for me, at the start of the week, this daily fair value gap is going to be holding a lot of value for the rest of the week. If we continue to hold that and we get a change in the state or a push to the upside, we're going to be looking for price to go back into price discovery, and then we'll have to reassess from there. But if this daily fair value gap, say the Monday candle closes below, we get a retest, I will be looking potentially for like a short-term sell bias, maybe down to take out these previous week's low, or down to this daily fair value gap, and then we'll have to see how price would want to react down there. So at the beginning of the week, I'm going to be paying really close attention to this daily fair value gap. So again, scenario number one, we end up holding this gap, we continue to push back into price discovery, and then price continues to go from there. Scenario number two, maybe we inverse this gap, we potentially get in on a retest or something like that, and then we look to seek price going lower, maybe down to these previous week's low, or down to this daily fair value gap down here, and then reassess from there. Again, keep in mind with that SMT on the highs right now, just something to kind of have marked on your charts and remember that for now, and then keep that in mind throughout the week until that gets either pushed above or whatever. Going over to ES is pretty much the exact same thing. If this daily fair value gap continues to hold and this SMT really doesn't really matter at that point, then we continue to push up and we continue to put in new highs, new lows, and we continue into price discovery. But if this fair value gap gets run through, we get a retest, we will be looking to seek probably lower prices down to this previous week low and then potentially down to this daily low down here or something like that. As it stands right now, I still have a bullish bias in the week. Order flow is obviously bullish. We're still holding this daily FVG, and same thing on NQ. We're still holding this daily FVG. We're still in bullish order flow, so I technically still have a bullish bias on the week, but we're really going to have to just pay attention to how price reacts off this gap right here. Again, if we hold it, we're probably going to be looking for continuations to the upside, price discovery, continue to make new all-time highs. But if this continues to, if this breaks, maybe we get a retest and then we look to seek lower prices potentially to that previous week's low and this lower daily fair value gap over here. Those are potential scenarios I'm looking at. We're going to have to reassess throughout the week based on lower time frame and stuff like that. We have a ton of built up low resistance sell side liquidity, as you can see, lows all throughout there. So at some point, we're probably going to end up running through these lows, and we'll have to see what happens. But we also are near all-time highs, and it's usually not the best idea to try to be catching a top in the market. But we did sweep out this previous this weekly high, so we're gonna have to pay attention. Again, just pay attention to this gap, see what price does from there, and we could seek lower prices and end up taking out that sell side liquidity. It won't surprise me, but at all-time highs, if we hold this gap, I'm going to be banking on continuations to the upside. That's pretty much it. Just have those areas marked onto your charts. Again, for NQ, we want to have marked out this previous week's low, the all-time high, this daily low, daily fair value gap, and just be aware of those SMTs. Now let's get into the news. I don't think we have a heavy news week, so on Monday we have a no news Monday. How I'll be approaching, I'll be on the charts. If anything, I'll probably just take something de-risked or trade like eval. But for most people, I'd say avoid this no news Monday because it's not going to be the best price action. But I'll be on the charts looking, and I'll just see what happens. Kind of just take it, take it hour by hour, see what happens, and to see if we get anything from that. But if anything, it'll be de-risked. Tuesday, we have no news, but I'll be trading normally on Tuesday. So should be good to go normally on Tuesday. Wednesday, we have FOMC meeting minutes, and then we have Waller speaking, FOMC member Waller speaking at 11. So we'll have to see. Probably one of those days where we try to get out of the market pretty quick. Ideally, you want to be trying to catch a setup in and out of the market. Again, it's just meeting minutes. It's not the actual FOMC. So again, though, when we have that speaking at 11, probably try to be out of the market as fast as possible, but we'll be cautious that day, maybe de-risk and just being careful that day in general. Okay, Thursday, we have heavy news day. We have unemployment claims, Philly Fed, then we have flash PMI, flash services PMI, and then existing home sales. So I'll be waiting probably for both of these to happen because even though existing home sales is an orange folder news, I do find that it does have some volatility in the market a lot. So I probably will be waiting for this, especially since it's only 15 minutes. We'll be waiting for this anyway, so we might as well just wait for that to pass. But I'll be trading normally on Thursday, just going to be waiting for that news to pass. And then Friday, we have Powell speaking at 10. So we will be waiting for that to play out, and then we'll go from there. We're going to have to be extra cautious on that, and definitely don't be trading into that news. So we'll be waiting for that to pass, and then we'll go from there. So that's going to wrap it for me, guys. That's what I'm looking at in the week. These are the areas I have marked on my charts. That's how I'm trading the news or working around the news. That's going to wrap it up for me. Give me a like, subscribe, comment on the video. Link in the description, the pinned comment for the mentorship, free Discord if you guys want daily analysis, daily market breakdowns, trade recaps in there, in-depth trade recaps on top of the ones from YouTube in there. So check that out. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Until the next video, I'll see you guys then. Peace.